Honorable Speaker, I rise to support my cut motions and oppose the demands. First, before I say anything, I wish to thank our Director General of Police, Mr. Alok Kumar, because when I came into this assembly, I noticed that the police outside at the gate especially were not getting even snacks or any tea or even water. So I immediately gave him a call and made him a letter, and he made sure that all of them were being given these snacks, water and tea, whatever was required, including food. First, I will speak on demand number 5, which is prosecution. Honorable Speaker, I have seen that there are a lot of cases which are ending in failures of conviction. It's not the rate of conviction which depends on the strength or weakness of a public prosecutor. A public prosecutor is just an advocate who puts forward the case which is given by the prosecution. And invariably, we find that there are cases of late where they don't even take the opinion of the public prosecutor, just file the charge sheets. If this happens, it's a dangerous trend, because if there are any deficiencies, any defects which can be overcome, I think they don't get overcome. Now what is happening is, there is a system by which everyone wants answers. Sometimes even my colleagues want answers. How many cases won, how many cases lost? But that is not the mark of a public prosecutor. Let me be honest with it. Because if you don't have proper ingredients, you can't make a proper soup or any proper food. So these public prosecutors are sometimes faced with handicaps of done like a fait accompli, which they cannot actually perform nor do anything. They cannot improve. Public prosecutors are not just employed by the state to represent the state, but they owe a higher duty or responsibility, because they have to bring the truth before the court. And they can't manipulate facts, they can't manipulate witnesses, nor statements which are already recorded. So they have to do their duty. When I was a public prosecutor, I had good officers who did good investigations. Though I was at the High Court level, my rate of success was 95%, but it was because all the work done by them. But that's what I repeat to you. Article 21 of the Constitution speaks of right to life. Right to life is not just of a victim, but also the right to life of an accused. Because if you try to put an accused into a wrong bracket or try to fast track to make sure he's in, then you're doing injustice. So I believe that this should be attended, and public prosecutors should be not simply blamed for it, but I think the prosecution department should work out to analyze why these kind of failures are taking place. Honorable Speaker, in the new BNSS Act, which is the new Criminal Procedure Code, there is a new provision for prosecution. And that new provision makes Section 20 makes this provision. There shall be a district directorate of prosecution. A director of prosecution is on the top, and then a district directorate of prosecution in every district, consisting of as many deputy directors and assistant director of prosecution. If you have this spread out, and I think if you have it at the district level with a director of prosecution on the top, I think you can monitor, you can investigate, and not allow the public prosecutor to step in only when the charge sheet is filed. Pre-investigation also, I think public prosecutors have an important role. Sometimes we find that investigating agencies say that we correct the case. They catch somebody and put him inside. And Honorable Speaker, you know that sometimes we ourselves appear there, get those people discharged from the court. Sometimes we file petition by saying he's innocent and he's not involved. We get it quashed, FIR quashed. Why should people suffer this kind of fate of being wrongly arrested? Someone gets headlines, someone gets a President's Medal or maybe the Chief Minister's Medal for putting somebody inside, an innocent person. I don't believe this. So I think that this, the police need to work out. Even I've seen that they have used a technique of an approver. What's an approver? He is a co-accused. He's a co-accused who comes and makes a confessional statement. And they say, we promise that we will release you after you make the statement against the other people. Honorable Speaker, you remember there's a particular case of Pratima Naik double murder case which took place in Vasco da Gama. In that matter, I was asked by the High Court to appoint appear as amicus curiae, that is a friend of the court, free of cost. I appeared. It was a double murder. She was convicted. Matter was an appeal. I argued the matter. There was an approver. I argued. I never saw the lady, but I got her totally out, totally acquitted, because the entire investigation was flawed. Why I'm saying? Innocent person suffered inside. Sometimes you allow that approver, may be the most guilty person who should be incarcerated, who should be jailed, but you let that person off. In demand number 6, election, I want to speak about arbitrary deletion of voters from voters' rolls. Just when the election comes, we find that names of people suddenly disappear from the roll. Supreme Court has said that notice has to be issued. And sometimes the reports which are being given online, you don't find anything and suddenly a name is disappeared. Sometimes we find names included at the last minute. Also, we find, Honorable Speaker, electoral roll is being revised. They revise it by 31st of January. Cut-off date is 1st January. And just before the election, when the process starts, another supplementary roll is come out, which is not uploaded on the website. Why should you do this? Huge expenditure made by the Election Commission officials. Some of them keep going to holidays, sort of like they come here on a mission to visit shacks and five-star hotels. I think this needs to be nipped. Demand number 17, which is the police. We have good officers at the lower level. One is Omveer Singh, who's a IGP. We have Akshat Kaushal, whom I have been interacting with, the SP of North Goa, very fine, refined officer, and he handles the matters well. In South Goa, we have Sunita Sawant, whom I've interacted as a public prosecutor for many years. Our Karpe is there, Chodankar, Albuquerque, Rapoz, and Sitakan Naik, Nikhil Palekar. All these people are very fine officers who do their work without any pressure.
तुम्ही सांगला ती केस हांव तशें जाल्यार परत एकदा रिओपन करपा लायता.
Unchi.
आत्ता जे सांगले पळय न्ही पुलिसांनी सांगले म्हणून तुमचो सुटलो म्हणून तो ताका सांगता आता परत रिओपन करूया.
The Supreme Court time
करूया आनी रिओपन ती इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन परत सुरू करूया.
You can't reinvestigate. It is acquittal.
तेकाच लागून म्हणटा
reinvestigate.
it is a fault of police म्हणटा so I'll start once again.
No, I'll tell you what's the fault in that case. They got an approver. According to me, that approver was the main accused. That approver made a confession statement. I got that statement thrown out. Supreme Court, right from 1953 says, you can't have a double trial.
Check karta.
Check it. You should have gone in appeal if you wanted. You go that. I have no problem. You will not succeed.
Succeed to Supreme Court.
Best appeal galpa, there is not this thing. You have to understand one thing. What I'm saying is, this is not the first case.
I know by profession you are senior advocate now. At least appeal
now kit munta this process of making approver te bond korpa jay kita approver is the weakest manner of trying to say a case is solved. You are getting a co-accused to come and say I confess this, because what Supreme Court says is you remove the statement of the approver and find what else you have got, and this is what I used. If you remove his statement and see what else evidence you got, you get no evidence. Then your case goes into a total failure. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't bring approvers. Get your police to get independently the circumstances which can nail that accused. You will succeed. You understanding what I'm saying?
I got it.
Yeah. Now, as far as police and drugs, there is always what we hear is of a nexus, of a mafia of the police and the drugs which are involved.
तुम्ही तरी म्हणू नका आणि कोणी म्हटल्यार जाता तो बीन म्हणटा ते बरें तुमकां you know the fact actually. How you can say this?
Of
police and drugs.
That is all spoken widely.
Even
as a public prosecutor, I heard these matters. Yeah. So you know this. There were some police also prosecuted. So, now, Honorable Chief Minister, I want one small thing, because I'll tell you why. Goanche, Sarkarache, or even the government of Goa, even of Goa, I don't like it, very honest. Whether it's your government, our government, I don't care. When the Hyderabad police came here, according to me, it was an affront to our police, because they should have asked our police for help. And they should have come and done this. They came and tried to do all these arrests here. And then now they have gone there and blaming us as if it is. Why I say, internationally our name gets called.
Hyderabadचे पुलिस आयला पाहिजे त्याची डिटेल इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन करून लायला नवीन डीजीपी आयला पाहिजे ही इज ऑल्सो इन कोऑर्डिनेशन विथ दॅट हैदराबाद ताजो डीजी कोण आहा पळय त्याच्या कडेन न्ही फाटले फावटी इट इज अ ब्लेम गेम जाका आमी म्हणटा पळय न्ही तर तेंच्यांनी सुरवात केल्ले खंयसरूय जर ड्रग्स मेळ्ळो खंय ना ते गोंयान व्हरपा खातीर म्हण तेजी एक न्यूज करताले इट इज नॉट सो
ना हांव आनीक एक सांगता जस्ट लुक एट इट I look at it from in a different angle beyond what you're thinking. Suppose you want to defame Goa and say Goa is not a safe destination, not a good place to come. Esto काबार जातलें गोंयान न्ही
ते करपा खातीरच करतात
तेच म्हणटा हय
ताका लागूनच आमी जे उलयता आतां पळयता न्ही आमी ह्यो केसीस क्रॅक डावन करपाच्यो आहा पळय न्ही इट इज एन सामक्यो आमच्या एंटी नार्कोटीक सेल इज वर्किंग हार्ड फॉर दॅट पर्पज.
No, that's why I'm saying just we have to be vigilant, we should be strong, we should also react immediately by saying nothing doing. This is what I'm requesting. Sometimes, Honorable Speaker, there is a misuse of Section 149, 151, that is of the old CRPC, now it's 168, 170. Whenever there is a offense registered or some complaint filed, they immediately book somebody under 151 and release him on bail. But Supreme Court has deprecated such practice of incarcerating or even locking up one person for a day, less than 24 hours. There is one demand which I have got is of a payment of remuneration to the police and the IRB staff. I'll just pass this, Honorable Speaker. No, again. There is a circular of the Election Commission of India which directs payment of remuneration and TADA to personnel employed for election-related duties. I have come to know that staff of police and IRB also are not being paid this, sometimes for 1 and 2 years. And they have gone and done the duty, they're already going for a second election duty, sometimes very often out of state, and those people go at their own cost, they come back and they're not being paid. I demand that they be paid immediately as soon as they come back, maybe within 30 days, and then this will solve their issues. Police buses, the police buses I think need to be replaced. I am told that this morning when police came in the buses themselves were leaking. It will be shameful to see policemen using umbrellas inside the buses. Either you repair them or you replace them. Non-promotion of police. There is one batch which is called the Bombay batch. For 23 years they have been in service at that level of police constable, ASI and head constable. They are not being promoted, and I don't know for what reason. If you promote them, because for so many years they're stagnating, I think they can be given this promotional chance which allows other PCs after us to go up. Insufficient vehicles, more vehicles should be given to them, and renovation of our police outposts. Because our police outpost in Gawar, in Aldona, does not even have a proper toilet, no resting room, and it's quite in bad condition. So I believe that this government should look into it. As far as the jails, demand number 18, there have been allegations, and some of my own clients have told me that inside the jail they provide drugs and they also provide mobile phones. So I think this is very serious, and I think raids should be conducted periodically and surprisedly. There are scuffles at the jails which have taken place, which have hit headlines, and how these people get weapons and how they are in a position to assault other prisoners or co-prisoners needs to be investigated. As far as demand number 21 is concerned, public works, we see that the entire state of Goa, we see the sad state of roads which are crumbling. First, the national highway isn't built, takes over paddy fields, and we have flooding of paddy fields, which we can see happening in Bastora, in Giri, and other places across Goa. It was even flooding in Nuve earlier. No proper environment clearances were taken because they made 4 packages. Because, you know, Honorable Speaker, if it is 100 kilometers on crossing 2 states, you need national clearance. But to avoid it, what they did, a trick they have done, they split the package of the work in 4 parts. So splitting it, nothing was crossing 100 kilometers. In this way, they avoided EC clearances. And this is where now we are all suffering this. That's why I feel, now look at the alignments. The alignments are not proper. Vehicles are going off the roads at the turns. No proper even cutting of the hills. They've just cut it so badly that now we're having landslides. There's no stepping of the cutting of the hills. In Mercedes, Bamboli, Honorable Speaker, you might have noticed while going to Goa Medical College, there are cracks on the flyover. There are cracks also here near the Green Park flyover, and they're putting tar. Now, what is the solution they have found? They started pouring a carpet of tar over the entire area. My fear is you're hiding it. What happens if the crack continues to develop below? One day suddenly it will fall, like how today we have seen Kali Bridge has fallen in Karwar. So I don't want these things to happen, and we need to have accountability for these things. It's not just on the national highway, but even that road in Bisholi, which is the bypass, apparently mud fell down and vehicles were blocked. Another thing I mentioned was about service roads. I think, Honorable Speaker, you might have seen yourself that service roads in the heavy rains were completely flooded. People could not drive on them, vehicles were getting stuck, and people themselves are getting, they had to wade through very high levels of water. Yes, I require another 10 minutes. If lands in boring could be acquired under using the NHAI Act, then I feel that these service roads, because service roads are of different sizes. Some are narrow, which can allow only a single lane. Some have got double width, but not sufficient for two-way carriage. So it becomes dangerous for incoming or outgoing traffic. So if they can use NHAI Act for purpose of acquisition, especially for these areas, I'm not saying make big things, but at least for this, they can have a uniform width by using that. Underground cabling has destroyed a lot of our constituencies across Goa, and you see even in Mapsa it has been destroyed. Our Aldona constituency has suffered, and I'm told that now Electricity Department has handed over to the PWD for doing the works. I demand that this work should be done, especially in Lankade, Pant, Noikazon and Goljueng, in Korjueng of ours. They have dug the road in the middle, and now it's so difficult. You can't go left, you can't go right. You have to fall somehow in the middle because the roads are narrow. It's not that it's a very huge road. Sinking roads. We have already spoken about sinking roads. The roads, sides of which are sinking. And I think we have one in Pomburpa and Karana Kalvi Road which needs to be done up. Drinking water is a problem which is there. We have turbid water which comes because of the monsoon, but it can't be permanently there. I can understand onset of monsoon, so you have the turbidity coming in. Our Korjuem bridge also, there was painting work being done when the railings were rusting. I had to tell the contractor, you stop the work, you replace these. So I had to move a note to make sure that they're replacing the railings, otherwise painting over it and then replacing is just a waste of public money. There is one thing which I want to point out is that in Kanakana, there has been incidents of absolutely unpotable water, not fit for drinking, which has been put there. I'll just pass this. Honorable Speaker, our Congressman Janadar Bandari had raised an issue there that drinking water was not good. And finally what happened was, they had to file a complaint with the police. The police took them and asked the health department to conduct verification. Samples were taken. And I'll just pass this, just pass one up there. Just pass this. This RTI thing. Just pass to the Honorable Speaker one. It says there, please see page 4 of this compilation, page 4. And this is from DHS, remarks down. The sample of water analyzed does not conform to the standards prescribed for drinking water. The water therefore cannot be recommended for human consumption as such. Please look again at page 5. And this is at cement tank at Parve, Betul, Agonda, Kanakana. Down, the sample of water analyzed found contained by coliform organisms. The water therefore cannot be recommended for human consumption as such. So I've given all these, I'm not going to read all of them, but...
Yes, sir. Guillotine atanga, परत मैं मका answer करपाकूच time मेळतलो. तुम्ही जर
just I said I finished 10 minutes.
आता दोग जणांनी मिळून
10 मिनिटांनी कव्हर करतो.
सर तुम्ही opposition
Honorable member, you've already used 20 minutes.
I finished. I'll finish. Don't interrupt.
40 minutes required for me.
I think ruling is going to speak so much, I don't know.
Anyhow,
I'll finish. I'm being precise. I'm trying to be as fast as possible. Complete kota. See, these are important matters. I'm not attacking. I'm trying to give you suggestions what you can do for improvement, nothing more.
You're always giving suggestions.
It's always good. If you don't like it, I will attack in the other ways. As far as vigilance is, then I want to point out, even the Goan in this thing has brought out a report. This is the report which Goan has brought, showing that the water is contaminated, polluted, and can't be drunk. It is still being provided for the residents, and I think that we have all these problems coming up. One request I have is that Honorable Chief Minister may kindly see. I want to thank you for that Pede flyover which you are doing for me, and Nitin Gadkari for having consented to do that. It was long overdue, this, and that's why I need to give credit when it's due, which I'm giving. But only one request, traffic lights. Until that meantime, the traffic lights to be installed, because otherwise we may have some fatal accidents, as a stopgap measure until that work commences. MLA LED scheme works. We have got approvals, work tenders have gone, but I don't see any work which is yet commenced. As far as vigilance is concerned, demand number 22, there is a very dragging of cases against politicians. FIRs are filed, and then so many years the cases are not being charge-sheeted. My question is, why are they not being kept like this? Either they should be free or they should be hanged, whichever way, but make sure that they get disposed fast. There's one thing I want to make clear, that sometimes it may be said, oh, our government is very clean because there is no FIR against any minister or against officers. Let me make it clear. There was a Supreme Court judgment in General Commanding Officer which was deciding questions relating to Jammu Kashmir, matters whether officers there posted there could be tried or not, could not be tried. They said even launching of an offense could not be done under the Army Act. That judgment was misconstrued in Anil Kumar, and they said, Anil Kumar judgment said that you cannot even go to the court under 156(3) to register an FIR or direct registration of an FIR. The correctness of this judgment now has gone before a larger bench in Manju Sharma, and it's awaiting this thing. I believe that that judgment of Anil Kumar will be set aside. And the last demand I'm speaking on is on Home. Gaming Commissioner, Honorable Speaker, is not yet appointed. SIT, I think SIT needs to be a little more transparent because there are cases which they have received, they are not registered. Just give me 2 minutes and I will just explain one small thing. Honorable Speaker, in the case of Asagaon, I'll just pass this. You
continue, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, in Asagaon Comunidad, an area of 2,22,222 was grabbed by such foul means. I'm just passed those papers which shows that there is some paper or documentation showing that in 1949, apparently 1949, the grant was given to the person of 2,22,000. Then after that, it's in Portuguese and in English. They show everything having been done, and suddenly a document comes showing that in 1927, he had paid the four before he was granted. That page of 1927, I will show you, is coming at page 12. Please look at page 12. 1927, it's a very big fraud. Can you see that date of order, 6/12/1927 at page 12? And this, what happened is, the area of the land was shown as 2,222 square meters belonging to Comunidad of Asagaon. These people filed an application for mutation saying that they were the owners of the land. And after no notice went to the Comunidad, they made the mutation behind the back of the Comunidad. And the worst part of it was, after they did the mutation, they go and apply for rectification of the survey area. And please look at number 14, paragraph 14, page 14. What they do is, what does this ISLR officer do? He makes Mamladar a party, not even the Comunidad the party. And he increases this area of 2,222 to 2,22,222. Please understand this, what I'm saying is a total fraud. And they used a sale deed, which I have annexed there, which is no sale deed in the eyes of law. 1950-51 sale deeds are all under scrutiny. If you look at it by a naked eye, you'll come to know that this is not a sale deed, because sale deed must have the signatures, sale deed must have the stamps, but the sale deed is here. Please look at that sale deed, which is at page, I'll just set the page, 8 and 9. 7, it's 8 and 9, yeah. And the Portuguese version is a 7 and 8. Please look at 8.
Anyhow,
Nothing.
I'll ask to do the investigation.
Please, I will get. Because I'll tell why, Honorable Speaker. Complaint was filed with SIT. They did not even register the offense. I'm obliged. As far as home guards, they also have not been given election money. We see the home guards standing on the roads. They're always with a smile. They're wishing. They're always doing their work. Even sometimes they don't know.
20 वर्सांनी
Why? त्यांका regularize करपाचें. Why? And last is the fire and emergency. I compliment all these fire service officers led by Nitin Raikar. In times of need, in times of real difficult times, in weather, very high winds, high rain, they are working day and night, and they help us. And I think, Honorable Speaker, Chief Minister should give them a better equipment, which so they can have some little modern equipment which they can use. Please ensure there are plans for markets, fireplace and market. In scrap yards, you know, the scrap yard, there is no control. And in industries, especially flammable industries. So this is what I wish to make statement, and I request Honorable Chief Minister to kindly take note and issue the directions so that at least the fire department can be well equipped and rewarded. Even for this, they have this hazardous, what they call this fire safety. When they carry out, I'll just tell you the correct word. Just one word I'll tell you, and then I'll close. Risk allowance. For them, they should be given risk allowance. I'm obliged.